Hey guys, what is up? My name is Ashley. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I am going to be taking you through one of my back days. I don't always do back with biceps and shoulders. Today that's what I did just because I needed to hit those things. However, sometimes I also do back and chest together. I feel like a back and chest day takes a little bit longer and it takes a little bit more effort. I feel like if you pair one of your arm muscles with back or chest, it's a little bit easier because they're smaller muscles. I personally don't get as fatigued from like an arm day as I do hitting my back and chest. I don't know if that's just me. My back days have looked a little bit different lately. I used to do a very lat focused back day. I guess it's probably because my lats are strong and they're the easiest thing for me to feel a mind muscle connection with. I mean, it makes sense because I'm lat dominant. I do struggle to feel things in my upper back and like my lower traps. I always can feel things up here, but the lower trap, I struggle to feel things in. Something about the way like a high row is, it just doesn't feel natural to me. And yeah, rear delts included in that too. I struggle to feel my rear delts a lot. I have had like one machine that I felt a good burn with. I'm trying to think of what it was. Oh, you know what it is? It was a cable that was light enough for me to bend over and do like a rear delt fly. Almost all the cables that I run into are too heavy because they're so weak that I need to go light. Otherwise, everything else just like takes over and I don't just isolate the rear delt, which is what I want to do. Anyways, that was kind of down a little whatever away from back day. But so my back days are very like row oriented right now because I'm trying to work on the rest of my back. My lats are fine. They don't need to be developed anymore, especially without the rest of my back catching up first. So I do a lot of rows. They're not my favorite thing, but I'm starting to like them. I think I just need to figure out how to like get that mind muscle connection because that makes me feel like I'm getting a better lift. Even though it's not always the most important thing, I like it. It makes me feel better. I like getting a good pump. So I'm trying to work on that. I'm getting it. There's definitely certain row machines that I like more than others. Doing like a chest supported T-bar row isn't something that comes naturally to me. I do have to like constantly focus on bringing my elbows like out and up as opposed to just tucking them, because for me when I tuck my elbows it's all lat, which is stronger, so that's like naturally where my arms want to go. So when I'm doing the chest supported row I have to like constantly remind myself to bring my elbows up and like flare them almost, I guess, which is weird because I feel like everything's like tuck your elbows, but I don't count my reps. No, I count my reps. I don't necessarily count how many sets I do anymore. I obviously make sure I'm getting somewhere in like the 5 to 10 set range, but I'm not doing a specific amount each time. However, when I wouldn't count like, oh, I need 7 sets of lats, 7 sets of traps. I would just want like 7 sets of back in general. Or it's different though, because with like legs, I would do 7 sets of quads, 7 sets of hamstrings. I would never get quite like 7 sets of glutes because that's just so many sets for a workout. The only thing I would count with legs as both would be like a back squat. I would count that as like all 3 because it's such a huge compound and it does work all the muscles obviously. But besides that, I would count my quads and my hamstrings and my glutes totally separately. But with back, chest, yeah, anything else, it's just all together. Like I don't do things for my pec minor and major. It's just chest day, you know what I mean? For back, I wasn't necessarily like doing a certain amount of lats and traps and rhomboid. Yeah, I was just doing general back day, which I'm still just doing a back day, but I'm just being more mindful of it. I'm incorporating a lot more rows and a lot less lat pull downs. I did still do a couple sets of lat pull downs because I missed them and I wanted to do them, but for the most part, it's very row oriented. So I mean, if you need to work your lats, maybe your back day is gonna look a little different. It's gonna be more lat pull down oriented, maybe more lower rows where you're tucking your elbows. Something that I actually like quite a bit, I didn't do it today, but they're pretty much a chest supported row, but it's with dumbbells and you're pretty upright and you just go ham. You go like a little bit lighter. Like I would normally like dumbbell row like a 70, but on this I think I do like the 30s, and you just have a chest upright. You're still standing on your feet and you're rowing. You're not rowing like straight into you. Let me see if I can. So instead of rowing like straight into your chest, you're more like up. And you're going up and out because the bench is right here. So we're like, the shirt is making you look huge. You're going like up. Anyways, that upward pulling motion also helps hit more of your upper back and I feel like it hits your rear delts a little bit too, which is good because everyone's rear delts are neglected, I think. Maybe except for Sam Selwick's, but he doesn't count. So yeah, if you guys have never done that, you should. I will try to include it on my next back day. There's just not a lot of dumbbell bench room at the specific gym. So I kind of avoid my like, not creative exercises, but like the little fun exercises that I would do sometimes that are like not one of the major movements. I kind of avoid those here. No, that's not what it is. That's not true with core movement, but it's like I can get the job done doing something else, like a machine that they already have. But I'll just do it next time. The thing is, they're the benches. So they have like 2 benches that you can adjust in the dumbbell section. And then there's like one bench that's very upright. So it's a seated shoulder press and it has the things for the dumbbells. And then I think they have maybe a flat bench with that. And then maybe an incline bench with that too, which those take up a lot of space. And then they also have one like a bench, but it's always upright like this. I don't know what it's for, if I'm being honest. It might be for like a standing incline press. I don't know what it's for because it's too long to do anything on your stomach, because if you're laying on it on your stomach, your face is gonna be in the bench because it's like taller than me and there's nothing to stand on. So I've yet to figure out what that's for. If you know what that's for, please let me know in the comments because it confuses me. I thought I was gonna be able to do those rows I was just talking about on that, and I went over to it with my dumbbells and then I was just like, oh, I literally cannot do this because my face is just gonna get smushed in the bench. Yeah, but I'll do that next time. Anyways, today is technically day 4 of the cut. I was a little bit heavier today, 179.6. Yesterday I was 177 on the dot, so I'm not sure. I'm probably maybe somewhere in between. I'm not sure if I was dehydrated yesterday or if I'm like overhydrated / like retaining today. It's gonna fluctuate a lot. I'm not super worried about it. Just wanted to update you guys on that. It's going okay. I'm starting to get used to it a little bit, and I've had I found a few little sweet treats that I'm still able to have. I have meringues. I don't know if you guys have ever had meringues. I buy them from Sprouts. They are literally egg whites and vanilla, I think, or egg whites and sugar. I don't know, but either way, you can have a lot of them for like 80 calories. Granted, I eat like the whole box, which is like probably like 200, but still, they're so good. They're addicting. They have vanilla and chocolate where I go, and you guys really need to try them. We honestly buy them out of the meringues. I went through a phase last time I cut where we bought these like every night, or well, we bought them and ate them every night, and we would just go and buy them out of the meringues. They're like $6 a box, and we'd go and spend like 50 bucks. It was crazy, but they're so good, and they're so like, they work when you're on a cut. Because even if you don't have 200 calories to spare, I feel like you probably have 80 calories to spare unless you're friggin' like on prep, you know what I mean? So that's a hack. Also, I've been eating sugar-free Jell-O. I think, yeah, it's sugar-free. It's like the 5-calorie ones. Those are fire. The cherry flavor, I'm addicted to it. It's so good. I will eat like 2 of those every night, which also are terrible for you probably. There's definitely red 40 in those, but when you're cutting, it's different. You need sweet little treats. I like sweet little treats too when I'm not cutting, but they're like 700 calorie sweet treats, so they don't really work during my cut. Anyways though, those are helping me get through this, even though it's only been 4 days. I'm already dying. That's okay though. So kind of weird. Today we started off with shoulders. Normally I would totally start off with back, but we were doing the standing shoulder press, which is very hard for me, and it kind of uses my core and makes my spine sore sometimes. But if I arch my back too much when I'm pushing up, I just feel like it puts a little bit too much pressure, so I didn't want to hit back and then do this and have my back muscles be fatigued and then have my spine hurt even more. So we did this first. I was surprisingly okay with it. I think I did 65 pounds for the 8 to 10 range for all of my sets. So that was pretty decent because I haven't been doing any type of shoulder press. I've only been doing side raises, and my strength is still there. So that was good. I was pretty happy with that. I think I said this a couple days ago in my last video, one of my last videos. I am kind of going through a phase right now where I am taking everything a little bit more seriously. All of my sets, I'm going into them with like a more serious and intense mindset, and I'm taking my sets a lot closer to failure. I mean, they're going to failure, but I think I was kind of cheating to myself, lying to myself, cheating myself a little bit, thinking I was failing, and really I was just giving up in the middle of a rep, when really if I pushed through for a couple more seconds I could have gotten it. So I'm trying to do better with that and actually just keep pushing, because sometimes your weight is gonna like stop halfway and you're like, oh, that's failure. It's not. If you keep pushing for a couple seconds, you might get it, and then you might get another half rep, which is, you know what I mean, that's how you're gonna progressively overload. When you're inexperienced, it's a little bit easier to progressively overload because, you know, you get the newbie gains, you can fly through the weights faster, your muscles are learning how to work, how to lift the weights. But once you're a little bit more advanced, it's a little harder to progressively overload so fast. So that 1.5 reps really can make a big difference. So I'm trying to take that more seriously, and I'm hoping that I see some improvements. And that goes for everything. I'm doing it on my leg days. I think my leg days are where I'm noticing it the most. It's brutal because leg days are already hard in itself, and it takes so much to push a big muscle like that to failure. It's exhausting, and I've been so sore and just so dead at the end of my leg days, but it's good. Like, I'm so excited to see the results pay off. half. Oh my God, my camera battery is already gonna die. What the heck? Well, I'm gonna record till it dies. Well, this battery might die any minute, so hopefully it doesn't. Because the other one is charging, because it's also like dead. I got distracted though. Where was I? Standing bicep curls. We'll talk about that. I don't remember what I was saying, but these are something that I pretty much always do on my arm days or my bicep days or my back days, whatever day I'm doing. If I'm hitting biceps, I do standing dumbbell curls. Something about it, one, I feel strong when I do them. When I do the 30s, like, it's not a huge ego lift. Like, there's definitely so many people that can do that, but not every chick can walk into the gym and curl 30s. So it makes me feel like I'm like in a bracket of, dare I say, muscle mommy. It makes me cringe, but I feel like it's what people say. And honestly, I get a good pump, and I feel like I can go past failure with them because I can like swing them a little bit, which is also a great way to progressively overload. And they're also like a good way to track how my strength and like make sure I'm always going a little bit further, because with machines at different gyms, it's always going to be a little bit different what 30 pounds feels like. But I feel like dumbbells at different gyms are more comparable than machines. Even though dumbbells can feel a little bit different sometimes, a 30-pound dumbbell at 2 gyms is going to be more similar than like 30 pounds on a preacher curl machine. Because sometimes I feel like at Planet Fitness, I do like 90 pounds on the preacher curl. At this gym, I do 30. That's not the total reason I do it, but I do like that aspect of it as well. You can do them anywhere, and it's easy to track it. And Sam Zolik does them, and he does them heavy, and he swings them at the end. And the guy's got huge biceps, so they got to be doing something. Something I also did today, I did a seated dumbbell press. I did it lighter, and I did it just for like a good pump, kind of. I haven't done it in forever. I used to like this way more, but then I started focusing more on the standing shoulder press. And then ever since we started going to this gym, I've been pretty much just doing side raises for shoulders, which I don't want to totally neglect my front delts, which I know gets hit when you do like bench press and incline press, but I also should be doing a shoulder press. So I'm going to try to incorporate that more often, whether it be a seated dumbbell or even a machine or standing overhead with a barbell. I do feel like the standing overhead is going to play a role in my bench increasing, but I feel like a machine or a seated dumbbell might be a little bit better for hypertrophy. I really don't have any science or information backing that up. That's just my brain cells and thinking based off of how my muscles feel when I do it, pretty much. I did some seated dumbbell curls too, which I haven't done in a while. What I try to do is you have to go outward more almost, because the bench is gonna hit you, which I feel like is what you should do all the time. But when you're standing and you're going heavy, you're twisting a little bit. But with this, holding your arms like super strict and curling, so it almost isolates a little bit more and it puts more stretch. Yeah, it puts more stretch, because if your arms are a little bit forward, then there's resistance even when you're at the bottom, because the weight wants to like pull your arm back. So you're getting a better stretch and more isolation. These gave me a killer pump, especially if you take it to failure or past failure, start doing like half reps at the end. It will literally hurt so bad, but it will give you a solid pump, so that's good. I don't know why I thought I was gonna have like something better to say, and then I didn't, so it was just kind of weird. The beloved side raise machine. I love this machine. However, I always struggle with I always feel my traps whenever I try to do any like lateral raise, side raise, anything, dumbbells, machines. I always feel my traps, and they always burn way before my shoulders, so I never feel like I'm getting a good mind muscle connection and like I'm getting a good shoulder workout, because I don't just want to work my traps. They're already big. That's why my hair is covering them. No, I'm just kidding. But cameraman showed me a trick. If you put the bar over your hand, instead of grabbing the bar of the machine like this, you can't do this with dumbbells, but instead of grabbing the machine handles like this, if you just like swoop your hand under and kind of wrap your thumb around and then you push, it takes a lot of the pressure away from your forearms and away from your traps, and it allows you to isolate, because instead of pulling the weight up, you're pushing the weight up. And if you just focus on pushing out and not up necessarily, that's what kind of helps me. You're doing the same movement, but if you think about pushing out and away from your body, it literally will make your shoulders on fire. I think I adjusted my form the way I grabbed it and then did like 3 more sets, and my shoulders were dead because they haven't been hit like that in so long, or ever. I don't even know. Oh, there was one shoulder machine I liked at the Valley Fitness that I used to go to, but since I stopped going there, I have not gotten a decent shoulder workout, I feel like. So my shoulders were like, what the heck, they were not used to it. But I'm obviously gonna keep doing it, and they'll get used to it. But I'm very excited because I always have wanted the capped delts. I feel like it looks so nice, and I always try to isolate my delts really well, push really hard, go till failure, go past failure, do drop sets. I feel like I do everything and they're just lacking. So I'm hoping that adjusting this is gonna help me hit them more and therefore grow them. I also know that cutting is going to help show them, because I do carry a decent amount of fat in my arms. I guess I feel like I carry my fat pretty evenly everywhere, honestly. honestly. I gain it on my stomach, I gain it on my legs, my butt, my arms. I guess the spot I gain it the least is probably my back, but I still gain it there because I get back fat. I get like the little, you know, back fat rolls. You can see it in some of my videos. But I think that's the spot I gain it the least, and I definitely lose it the fastest there. So maybe it's just that I gain it there last, I'm not sure. But the second I start cutting normally, you can see it. When I cut last time, after just like 2 weeks when I was doing back days, it looked like I was shredded to the gills from behind, and then you'd see the front of me and it's like, oh, nope, never mind. She's still gonna tell me on her. But anyways, I was saying, when I cut, I think it'll definitely show more because I do carry some fat up here. So I'm very excited for that. I think that, I don't really think I've lost any weight. Obviously, it's been 4 days. I think my muscles are just kind of emptying out. I think that I'll probably have a couple more pounds to lose before I'm actually losing fat. I feel like that's normally kind of how it goes for me, is I'll drop like 4 or 5 pounds and then I won't drop for a little while, and then the fat burning kicks in. Not that it wasn't kicking in, then like the actual fat loss will show and I'll be down like 4 pounds randomly. But the first 4 or 5 pounds is just kind of my muscles losing all of the resources that they were full of when I was bulking, pretty much. I'm a little bit emptier, more depleted. I'm obviously not like complaining, saying like, oh, I'm so depleted. I just mean from a scientific standpoint, when you first start dieting, I didn't just lose like 4 pounds, 5 pounds, whatever it is. I don't know what I said my starting weight was. I just looked. My starting weight was 182. I think I might have said it was 180.2. My starting weight was 182. So technically, like as of yesterday, I was down 5 pounds, but half that could have been water, half that could have been my muscles draining, being deprived. But I'm excited to see some actual changes in my composition. You'll probably see me taking my shirt off more, posing more, working out with no shirt more. I kind of stopped doing that for a hot minute these past couple weeks, because I mean, I still pose at the end of everything, but I do that in the most alone spot possible in the gym. And I'm obviously posing on camera so I can see how I look. I have not been working out with no shirt on because, one, I can't see myself all the time. I'm not gonna be focused on it. So like my belly's gonna be hanging out. I got like pudge rolls showing. It's just not good. I'm not that comfortable right now, but I can't wait for that to come. It's getting hot out too. So being tan, if I start tanning, that'll help show off the cuts. So I'm very excited. I've never been super lean. I probably won't get super lean, but my goal is just to beat myself from last time. I know it sounds cliche sometimes when people are like, just try to do better than like what you did last time, or your only competition should be yourself. But honestly, I think it's really true, because it's not fair or accurate to compare yourself to others, because one, they might lose weight easier, or maybe they started thinner and then they dieted down. It doesn't make sense to compare yourself to others. You're never gonna have the same like muscle insertions. You're never gonna have the same amount of muscle, or maybe the same limb length, or like bone structure. So if you just compare yourself to yourself like 6 months ago, that is a much better comparison and thing to strive towards, I guess, is being better than what you were. Because like I will never have like a super tiny waist. I have a decent sized rib cage, so I'm never gonna have like that, which I used to always be like, oh, I don't look like that yet. What's wrong with me? I'm never gonna look like that. So now I don't know where that just cut off because it died. But I was saying, now what I try to do, instead of comparing myself to others, is I just try to compare myself to like 6 months ago, or my last cut, or my last bulk. Like my goal for this cut is to get leaner than last time. My goal for my next bulk will probably be eat a little bit cleaner than I did this time, to try to put on maybe more muscle, a little bit less fat, maybe do it for longer, maybe train more intense than last time, maybe put more muscle on in a certain area than last time. And I feel like you're gonna feel the best once you start looking at it from that perspective. If you look at it from a perspective of always comparing yourself to others, you probably are like longing for something that's never going to happen. Because I mean, there's probably a whole like psychological reason, but I feel like you never appreciate the things you have, or like the way you look. And it's just because you're so used to seeing yourself and you've like idolized how others look, because it's not how you look. But like, you're never ever gonna be fulfilled by that, because you're always gonna be longing for something that's not you. Versus if you start just comparing yourself to you, it's gonna be more realistic. You're actually going to be able to achieve the things that you want to achieve. And I feel like then you're gonna be more fulfilled, because you're actually gonna achieve your goals. It's easy to get stuck in like, oh, I wanna look like this, but you gotta be real with yourself on like what your bone structure is like, and how tall you are, how short you are, if you have a certain muscle insertion, you know what I mean? Set realistic goals for you that are just in comparison to yourself. And I feel like that's just the way you should do it. It's hard. It's very easy to get caught up in like, oh, well, I wanna look like this. But it's something you should work on. I still need to work on it because I definitely still do that sometimes. In the gym, I see other girls that have maybe like shorter legs or like little rib cages. And I'm like, I don't look like that yet. It's like, oh, cameraman's pretty good at reminding me. He's like, you're never gonna look like that. No, I'm just kidding. He's realistic with me. He's like, oh, that's just genetics. Like, that's nothing that you can change. And he'll be like, focus on the things that you can change, that you want to change, and then you'll be happier, which is true. So we should all take cameraman's advice. Make realistic goals that are based off like yourself 6 months ago, or based off yourself now for yourself in 6 months. That's my message, my positive message to you for the day. So I'm just trying to get more lean than the last cut. I'm not expecting to have like abs or anything. Definitely a little less belly fat. I want my back to be more shredded, my legs to be a little bit more lean. They're a little bit, I don't know, they're not stubby, but they're stubby for me. Cameraman keeps saying I look stubby. I got long legs. Like, I wear like extra longs in jeans sometimes. I'm 5'8", but which isn't like that tall, but I still have to wear tall jeans because I'm long-legged, short torso. So for him to say they look stubby, I feel like they've probably, hopefully they've put on some size, but they've also just put on some insulation, you might say. Alrighty guys, that is everything for this back, shoulder, and bicep day. It was honestly a pretty good lift. I'm really psyched about figuring out how to hit my shoulders better. I cannot wait to see results from that. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget code ASH20 if you want to buy some pre-workout pump covers, anything like that, and let me know. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, comment down below. I love hearing from you guys, and I will see you next time. Bye.